Hi there, Bearcats and Dragons. This week for writing, we're going to make how-to writing pieces. Now, before I explain what a how-to is, I want to say that as you're viewing this video, you have a few choices. You can watch the video first all the way through and then go in and work on your Google slide, which will be the graphic organizer we have for the lesson today. Or as I'm going through each piece of it, you can pause the video and go into your Google slide and fill out each section of our organizer at a time. Okay, so let's get started. A how-to writing piece is something where you choose something you know how to do really well, and then you explain it step by step using transition words to show your reader how to do that activity correctly. So let's get started today. The very first thing you need to do before you make a how-to writing piece is think of what you're going to teach. What is something you know how to do really well? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. What is something you know how to do? It might be making your bed. It might be making a sandwich. It might be folding an item of clothing, so folding clothes. It could be one of these ideas, or it could be many more ideas. So I'll give you a moment and you can think what if you were adding to this list, what you might add, something you know how to do very well. Okay, if you have your idea, then we can keep moving on. So do you have it? Great. Now that I've thought about one thing I know how to do really well, I'm going to go into my Google slide and I'm going to type in what it is that I'm going to teach today. As you can see here, I've decided I'm going to teach how to make tea. This is something I know how to do really well that I can explain in 3 steps. This is my graphic organizer in my Google slide that I will be able to use to help me figure out each and every step of the way so that my reader knows exactly how to do this activity once they are finished reading my piece. When I'm done filling out my graphic organizer, it's going to look like this. I'm going to go through each and every part of this organizer to help you think about what you might need to put in your activity. Now, are you going to make one about how to make tea? That's right. That's the thing that I chose to do, so you can choose something a little bit different because I don't want you just to do the exact same thing I did. I'd like to see what it is you know how to do really well, and I'd love to learn it from you. All right, now let's begin at the very top. Our topic is what our writing piece is about. It means what we're going to teach. So I wrote, I will teach you how to make tea. That's my topic. That's what I'm thinking about in each part of my writing today. After I do my topic, I go to my introduction. The introduction means we're introducing our reader to our topic, to what they're going to learn if they read our piece. So I wrote a few complete sentences inside my text box. I wrote, today I will teach you how to make tea. Tea is a delicious drink you can enjoy any time of the day. Make sure you have help from an adult to keep you safe. So there I chose to write 3 sentences. Here it says 1 to 2. I wrote 3 sentences to tell the reader what it is that I'm going to teach. Now that I know what I'm going to teach, I need to think of how I'm going to teach that. So my next thing that I need to think about is what is it that my reader will need in order to follow my how-to steps to learn how to make tea. I wrote them down in a list. You don't have to number your list if you don't want. If you want to write it and then write a comma and write the next item they'll need and write a comma, you can do that too. This is just how I chose to organize it to help me. So I wrote that they'll need a tea kettle, water, a mug, a bag of tea, any flavor you want, a stove, and an adult to help with the stove. Now that I decided what it is that we're doing and what it is that my reader will need, I can go through the 3 steps that it will take to do this activity. Step number 1 is to fill your tea kettle with water and put it on the stove and turn it on. So there, I said more than one thing in my first step, but it's all grouped into. So it's 2 sentences about the very first things that you need to do in order to make tea. Then I thought, what will I have to do next? Now you notice our transition words here. First, you do these things. Next, you can wait for the kettle to make a whistling sound. Carefully pour the hot water into your mug. So if you notice here, I'm giving lots of details so that if you're reading this and learning how to make tea, you won't miss anything. Something that an expert how-to writer does is adds little tips on certain steps to make sure you don't have to do this to be able to learn how to make tea, but it might be a helpful hint or tip, just a little extra information. So I wrote, you can use a pot. Oh, you can use a pot holder. Can help keep your hand from getting burned. Now, does this sentence make sense? No. So what can I do? That's right. I can go in and fix it. You can use a pot holder to help keep your hand from getting burned. There. Now my sentence is fixed correctly. So it's always good to go back and reread your writing and make sure that your sentences make good sense. So that's the next thing. Then I go to my step 3, the third thing to do. Last, put the tea bag in hot water and wait until it is cool enough to drink. I included another tip because I'm an expert how-to writer. And I said, pick up your mug. Oh, there we go again. Have to go back in and edit. Pick up your mug by the handle so you don't burn your fingers and enjoy. So this is just an extra little tip. It's part of the step, but if you didn't do that, you'd probably be able to figure it out on your own. After I've given my step 1, step 2, and step 3, I can go into my closing. The closing is kind of like a closing for our letter, where we remind our reader what it is that we've been writing to them about and what they know how to do now. So we start it with, now you know. Now you know how to make tea. Enjoy a cup with a family member at breakfast or as a treat before bed. So I included a sentence explaining what my reader now knows how to do, and then an extra idea of when they might want to do that or who they might want to do it with. So these are each of the steps to organize my ideas for my how-to writing. This can be done on our Google slide, or you can print out the blank sheet and you can write it and send it in as well. Hold on to this, because then tomorrow you're going to be able to take this and you're going to write it out in complete sentences. Have fun figuring out your how-to activities. I can't wait to see all the wonderful things that you're going to be able to teach us this week. Happy writing!